Hi, James Floyd Kelly here. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the latest in Arduino. In this episode of the latest in Arduino, I'm going to introduce you to the Arduino Ethernet, a new product, the mini fume extractor from the Maker Shed, and then finally I'm going to talk about a new book called Arduino Robotics. Let's get started. By the time you're reading this, there may very well be a new product available on Maker Shed. If not, you can find it online. It's called the Arduino Ethernet. This is it. And as you can tell, it's pretty much the same size as the Arduino Uno, but there are some differences. One thing you may notice here, the Ethernet port is a little taller than the USB port. And so what this does is, in some cases, like for this Maker Shield here, this Maker Shield cannot push down all the way. It can't seat itself very well on the Ethernet Arduino due to the thickness of the Ethernet port. This may not be a big deal, mainly because a lot of shields are not this big. So they may be able to fit on here without interfering with the, or without the Ethernet port interfering. I saw on the internet a few days ago an iPhone app that works with a garage door opener. So anywhere you're out and about, you want to know if you left your garage door opener, you can check this app and open and close your garage door. So I'm wondering if I could somehow figure out how to control my garage door with my Arduino phone using some custom scripts and a web page. That may be one of the projects I try on this. So anyway, $60 is a pretty good price for the Arduino Ethernet. Before I actually build the fume extractor, I wanted to actually wire it up and make sure that the fan worked, the voltage regulator worked, and also that I just had my wiring done properly. Okay, I'm gonna solder up the first wire here for the fan. Now I'm gonna do the remaining pins on the voltage regulator. The black wire shares a common point with the switch on the voltage regulator. I'm going to take these two wires from the switch and the black wire from the fan, and I'm going to solder them to the center pole on the voltage regulator here. And the final battery here, as you see, it has one wire left that needs to be soldered onto the switch in order to close the circuit. Okay, the last little bit of solder will go right here on the switch. I've completed cutting the holes. I also used the Dremel to cut two horizontal lines for the small switch, and then I used just a pair of snips to cut the edges, and I've got me a small hole now for the switch. So what I'm going to do now is use a hot glue gun to mount these covers on top. Now I'm going to try to get everything in. There we go. I got everything squeezed into the tin. It's not an easy fit, but it should work. What I am going to do is I'm going to use this fan for when I put it in my stand here. I can tip this over and keep the fumes, at least from reaching me while it's resting. So pretty happy with the final results here, and I've got me a fume extractor. There are 13 chapters in all, but to get the most from the book, you're going to have to need some more experience with writing sketches than this book can provide. One thing I did like in the early chapters was the good coverage of remote control technology and wireless options for communicating with Arduino controlled projects. Your first robot will be Linus the Linebot. It's a simple line following robot. But what the authors have done in chapter 4 by introducing this robot is provide the format for future chapters. After assembling or soldering up any of the required components, the book provides a ton of details on how the components work together. In most of the book's projects, you're also going to be building some unique frames or bodies for these robots, and the authors do not skimp on the details. A total of 8 robot projects are included in the book. Of all of them, my favorite has to be the Segbot. It's an Arduino-controlled clone of the Segway scooter. I really want to build one of these, and after reading the entire chapter, I have no doubt that I can do it. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Latest in Arduino. There's an email address at the bottom of the screen. If you know of an Arduino related project, website, book, or product, please send me some details and it may be featured in a future episode. I'll see you next time.